Juicing is no waste of money. Yes, I said it. I'm going to be teaching you ways how to use the pulp from the fruit and vegetable you juice in your kitchen. There is no waste in my kitchen. Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Eslyn. Let's make stew base or jollof sauce. After getting this pure bright carrot juice, I'm going to be using the pulp to make my jollof stew. Yeah, I'm going to be using this to make a stew base, which is going to last a month in my home. I cooked it down and blended it up to look very smooth, as if it were tomato and onion puree. And let's get into the cooking. I put my oil on fire, and after it heated up, I decided to put in my tomato paste, and I'm going to be using a lot of it because we have a lot of carrot pulp, which I mixed with beetroot, which was the red on it, and there's a lot of that of puree, so I'm going to be using a lot of tomato paste, but I don't like too much tomato paste in my jollof, so I'm going to be putting a good amount and then cook it down till all the tangy taste is gone. At this point, I'm going to be going back to my ingredient table, and I'm going to put together some ginger, garlic, and some fresh tomatoes. I'm going to be blending and adding to my sauce. Since I have the carrot and beetroot to substitute onions and tomato, I'm just going to be adding a little more tomato to sweeten it up the more. And I'm going to cover my tomato paste so it can cook to the final state, which is after which it's gonna burn, but not gonna let it burn. So I'm gonna be cooking it on the low heat, covered and stirring from time to time. Now I added my diced onion. I usually do that because I like my tomatoes cook so much that I'm scared my onion is gonna get burnt. So I added later at the final frying of the tomato step, and then I added at a point and let it cook for 30 to 50 seconds before I add my blended up tomato and carrot. Now I added my carrot, beetroot, onion, tomato, pepper, ginger, and garlic mix into the tomato paste that was frying earlier on. And you could see I started frying not long ago, but it is so thick. Yeah, this process makes sure your stew cooks down so fast because all the water is out of it from the juice, and we got all the water in the carrot juice we got, and it makes your stew cook down so fast, and you don't have to stand and stir for hours and have all the splatter everywhere. This is one of the reasons why I love this process, and I'm able to cook a big batch of stew in a little amount of time. Look at it right there. So since the vegetables are good to be eaten raw, I just fry and fry for a while, make sure everything is mixed together, and I don't let it burn or dehydrate all the way down, because it's gonna be taking most of the nutrient out of it. But one of the reasons it's good to use carrot in your stews is that carrot works more. The carotene agent in it works more when it's being cooked. So most of the time I even warm up my carrot juice a little bit before I drink it. Think about that. It releases a lot of nutrients more when it's cooked than being fresh. So our stew is getting there. This looks good already. I just put in some seasoning, and this is good for your family and also for to cook with carrot for your kids, because you don't need to put a lot of seasoning. It's already sweet, and you can get more of the stew, and the more stew they eat or the more food you use this to cook for them, the more nutrients they get from all these vegetables. I love carrot in my food. I use them for soups, for stews, and for everything you can think of. And most of the time onions get really expensive, and it will be a good time to incorporate carrot into your cooking. And if you got carrot, I promise you, you're not looking back. I'm gonna simmer for a while. I'm gonna make it cook. At this point it should be good, but I'm gonna cook it down a little more, because I do this and store it in my freezer. I'm a very busy person. I store it in my freezer, and every week, I know my family eats jollof every week. I just get my protein, whatever protein we want to use. If we want to use beef, goat, chicken, turkey, I just cook it and mix my stock in it, and then I can proceed to making my jollof. Also, if you're someone and you're concerned, you'd be like, okay, if you're allergic to carrot and you want to use other vegetables, yes, you're open to use other vegetables. I do use cabbage. I do use onions. You can pair cabbage, onions, and tomatoes, and it's still good. I do use bell peppers and also celery. I use turmeric. Anything I juice, some of the stuff I juice them to drink them, and then I use the pulp for my stew. I just cook them down, mix them up, cook them down, and blend them to make them smooth, and I use it, and it works perfectly fine. If you cook it raw and you eat it and it tastes good to you, you mix it in the you mix the pulp with your other vegetables to make jollof, it's still good. If you can eat cabbage stew, you can use cabbage to make your stew as well. And if you can eat carrot, you can also use carrot to make your stew as well. As simple as that. And this is one of the most easiest way I get my kids to eat vegetables. Whenever I put them in jollof, since my kids love jollof, I incorporate a lot of vegetables into my jollof, and they love it that way. They will go ahead and eat salad and other stuff, but if you put the vegetables in sauce and cook it up, they don't want to see vegetables in their food. But they do eat salad. How ironic. So I just blend them up and use it to cook my food, and it's good for the whole family. Carotene from carrot, as I said earlier on in my juicing video, is good for your skin, it's good for eyesight, and it has a lot of benefit. You can think of tons of it. It's also even good for the kids to help them have free bowels. So it has tons of benefit, and you would love using this. Try it and you would love it so much. If you stayed with me to this point, I'd love to have you as a friend. Please click on the subscription so you can subscribe to my videos and get notification whenever I post a video. I'm trying to build up my channel, so whatever you want me to do, you can put it in the comment section, and I'm gonna try to upload videos of that sort. if I can. Okay, so we are done with the using of the pulp of the carrot, and in my next video I'm gonna teach you how to use the juice for gummies for the little ones. I tell you, this is really nice. This stew is so delicious, and it's not about being a sweet tooth, but it's about eating the best food and also giving your family the best. I had a little chicken stock in my freezer, and I decided to put it in there in case we would have to have it with rice, because that day I was planning on having it with rice and fried fish, but we eventually made the jollof. It's so good. You can even use some of the stew base, add fresh tomatoes, and use it for your spinach sauce, contomere stew, and whatever stew you want to use it for. This brings us to the end of today's video. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, and see you in my next video. See how much stew we got. Bye-bye.